the channel. Today we're working on a Rheem furnace. Customer complaint that the blower motor was making some noise. Replaced the combustion air blower on this unit about 4 or 5 years ago, so it is the main blower that's making a noise. In today's video we're going to be replacing it. I'll go walk you through step by step of what to do on this particular unit to go ahead and get that changed. So the first thing we're going to want to do with this unit is shut the main power off, and we're going to want to shut the main power to the off position. We're going to want to unhook any plug that plugs the circuit board into the main wiring. I'm going to get these unplugged. If there's a filter in the area on the inside of the furnace, we're going to want to remove it. So we'll remove this. We're going to be replacing this motor with a rescue here today. This filter can come out. Get the filter out. There's also a plug up here for the main power on this model. We can get it unplugged and get ready to slide the whole assembly out of the furnace. We will have to unhook the thermostat wires, and this is for a humidifier. We're going to want to unhook it as well. So we'll either want to label those, or in this case we know where they are. They're pretty self-explanatory here with the R and the W. If you have a whole bunch of them here, you're going to want to unhook them all, or take a picture with your phone and then unhook them all and make sure they end up back where you started, or you could blow a control fuse or something like that. As far as actually removing the blower out of this furnace is pretty simple. Up here in the top, over here's a 1/4-inch screw, and here's a 1/4-inch screw, and then this whole assembly is going to go ahead and slide right out to you, and that'll get out where you'll be able to access the blower wheel and stuff like that. So I'm going to get these wires unhooked, take these 2 screws out of the top here, and I'll be back when I'm ready to pull this thing out. Okay, so now we got the all the plugs unhooked, all the wires unhooked. We got the 2 screws located up top that hold the blower assembly in place. And now we're going to go ahead and get this thing wiggled out of here. We're going to want to make sure all of our wires are free and they're not catching on anything. Sometimes that can be a little tricky to wiggle out. This part right here, these are your capacitors. This capacitor runs the combustion air blower, and then this capacitor runs the blower motor. Now in this particular unit, when you go to spin it, you can tell that the bearings are definitely out of it. So we're going to go ahead and replace the capacitor and the blower. Sometimes you can get away with just replacing the capacitor if the bearings in the motor are free, but that's where it's located on these Rheem units, is right here up top. This capacitor only does this fan here, and this capacitor runs the actual blower. And you can see how the blower is all wired into the board. So once we get this out, so you can see there comes the whole housing out, and we will get it repositioned here so you can see how we take it apart. Okay, so we got it in a position where we can take it apart. For this part of it, you're definitely going to want to use a trusty 1/4-inch impact. I'm partial to the Malco tips, where you can use, they have 1/4-inch and 5/16, so that makes it pretty nice. And we'll zip out all these 1/4-inch screws. There is a bunch of them, so make sure you have a place to put them to keep them safe, so we're not losing any. Okay, we got them all out, and now we'll have to flip it over and to release the shaft part. So when you tip this up, it's going to want to fall over on you a little bit, and then up inside here there's the piece that holds it onto the shaft. We'll get a crescent wrench, we'll get that loosened up, and then hopefully we'll be able to just slide that motor right up out of there, leaving the blower wheel inside the housing. Now, sometimes the blower wheel will have to be taken apart and cleaned. Not particularly on this case. It doesn't look really dirty. If these cups are full of dirt and stuff, people have pets and different things, or the unit's just older, you'll want to take this whole blower assembly, take this screw here out on both sides, and then this piece lifts up, and then you can pull the whole blower wheel out. For this unit being 20 years old, has a little bit of dust, but not enough to really justify taking it apart and cleaning it. So now we're going to take this, gently lay it back on the other side. And we're going to take our cutters, and we're actually just going to cut all the wires off, because we're going to worry about getting it installed first, and then we will go over the wiring here in a little bit. So our first two wires go to our capacitor, so we're going to nip those off so we know what those do, and then the rest of these go into this grommet over here, so we're going to have to put the new ones through there. So we're just going to go ahead and nip these off so we can get that motor out, and we can go over the new one. Okay, so there's that. All of our bolts are out. Now we should be able to just you can just wiggle jiggle them up out of there. This one's just about ready. There we go. There's the old motor. The bearings are definitely tight, and you can tell that we gotta do some more 1/4-inch screws here, but we're gonna go over the other motor first. We're gonna be putting back in, and we'll take these brackets off and install them in our new motor. Okay, so here we are, we're back. This is our motor we're replacing it with. It is a 3/4 to 1/5 horsepower made by Rescue. So there is some different things you have to watch out for. You can see it's a little bit taller than the old one, which is not a big deal. We have lots of room inside the blower housing to make that fit. So the first thing you'll notice is these bolts are cut off here, and these ones are not. So we're gonna wanna go ahead and nip those off first. Not that it's absolutely necessary, but we're not sure how close that's got to be to the inside of the housing. So we're going to take our cutters or linesmen, nip those off. Now on these Rescue motors, there is a bunch of wires. Don't let that intimidate you. There's, multiple different ways that they can be hooked up. You can change the direction, so on and so forth. So along with this, on this motor, came with this piece of paper right here that tells you which direction does what speed is what, and we'll need that here in a little bit to verify that it's actually gonna fit correctly. So we're gonna stick that up here for now. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Now, on the side of this Rescue motor, you'll see there's two holes, and you'll see there's two holes for these brackets. You're gonna wanna pay attention to what position the bracket is in and which holes it's using. Here's some extra holes. So you don't want to accidentally do that, and then the motor will be down in too far. So when you take these apart, you want to pay extra attention and make sure that when you take the one off, that it's going to go back in the same depth as the old one. So we're going to take this one off, and we're going to drop the screw. I found it. Okay. Set this down in here. So we know that we want this hole and that hole. So I like to do these one at a time. That way you make sure you get them all lined up correctly, and then we will set that motor down in the housing and make sure that that fits correctly. So we'll put one here. Next one here. It's about the same depth from the top here to where the beginning of the bracket is on that motor. So that means we should be pretty close when we go to put this thing back together. So this is the first one. You're going to want to repeat all 4 of these brackets on the Rheem brands. Some of them have a belly band, but the Rheem brands have a bracket. You make sure you use the same 2 holes, And we're gonna take all 4 of these off of here. We're gonna put them on here, and then we'll be back when we actually set this motor down in place. Okay, we are back. We got all of our brackets moved over to our new motor, and now we're going to go ahead and spin it around and drop it down in the housing and get the screws brackets attached. We're not too worried about the location of the blower wheel just yet, but what we are worried about is the location of the wiring. So we know our old wiring is here, so we want to make sure that this side of the motor is facing where the wiring will go directly into the circuit board. That way we're not having to loop it around and a bunch of goofy stuff like that. So I'm going to take this, we're going to get it in the position where that wiring is as close to the circuit board as possible. That should fit right down on that shaft. Make sure the wiring is good. And we're going to go ahead, drop it down in, and then we're going to go ahead and put all those 1/4" screws back in. Now you want to make sure you don't over tighten them. They got to be tight, but they can't be over tight. If they're over tightened, it'll strip the metal out, and then they won't be able to support that engine or the motor correctly. So we're going to start with 1 on each. Get them all lined up here. Also, when the rescue motors come with a ground wire, I usually try to ground it with a screw where it's out of the way, so it's not getting caught in anything down the road. That. Okay, so all of our holes line up. We got 1 on each. We got our ground wire attached. Now we can go ahead and add the rest. Okay, all of our screws, oops, one more. All of our screws are all in. That is holding the motor in place on the bracket. Everything looks good there. So what we're gonna wanna do now is we gotta recenter the wheel, the blower wheel back on the motor. So how you do that is take this. Now you can see that the motor, the wheel is not centered. Center it as best you can between where the lip is here and the lip is here. Once you have that centered, then you can find the flat spot on the shaft and can tighten the nut up only on the flat spot. And then that way if anyone ever has to replace this motor again, that it'll be able to slide right out because there's not a dimple in the metal. So once we find our flat spot, we can go ahead and snug our screw up on the flat spot. Make sure it's snug enough to hold it there. And then from looking at it straight on forward, you'll be able to make sure that this is centered in the housing itself. So we got that in there. We'll get that tightened up. And then we'll be back when we slide it in. Okay, we're back and we're getting ready to slide this in, but we don't want to slide it in the whole way just yet because we got a capacitor to deal with. Now, these motors come sized for multiple different size horsepower motors. The one we're working with requires a 20 microfarad capacitor. So what we're going to do is up on top, there is hangers. This is going to line up in here. So there's that one. But we're not going to slide it all the way in just yet because we got to replace our capacitor and we got to verify our wiring. These 2 wires right here, the orange and the purple on this particular model, the 5470, determines rotation. So when we're all done, when we turn on and the motor begins to run, we'll check the rotation, make sure that it's spinning the correct direction, blowing the air up. So right now, we're going to switch our handy Malco tip over to a 5/16. We're going to remove this screw. And then we'll get rid of our old capacitor. This capacitor is rated for 15. Then we're going to get our new capacitor. I purchased a round one so that we can put it back in the same location. That way we don't have to do any extra mounting or anything like that. This capacitor will slide in here. We'll take our screw, put it back in. And that will hold that right there. So now we have our capacitor installed. Now on all of our wiring, we have 2 brown wires that we know go to our capacitor because of our sheet. So it tells us right here where these go. So we're going to separate these 2 out of the bunch. We're going to get those plugged in now before we slide it in the housing so that you can, it's a lot easier to work with there. So we get these separated out. Like so. We'll make a nice little coil of them here. We'll get that zip tied up later. And we can plug this into our capacitor. And there's a scale on the side of the box for the rescue motor that tells you exactly what microfarad capacitor you need for what horsepower of motor. So, and that is right here. So yeah, we're using a 20 microfarad capacitor. So we're 3/4, and there's the colors wires, and then the capacitor rating is somewhere on here. Yeah, so there's 20 microfarad. There we go. All right, so we got our capacitor installed, and now we're getting ready to slide this housing back in. We are not going to put any zip ties on any of this just yet because we may have to change the rotation. So we are going to hold off on that to get all that buttoned up until we get it slid into the housing, totally reinstalled, and then we can pull this cover off and go over the wiring on the board. But as of now, we have our capacitor hooked up, our motor's in. We spun the blower wheel to make sure it wasn't hitting on anything, wasn't dragging, wasn't doing anything goofy like that. All that part is done. So as you slide this back in, you're gonna wanna give it some wiggle jiggles just like this to get it worked back in those little tabs that hold it in place. Once we get it in all the way, we get our 2/4 inch screws and go ahead and get that reattached to the top. So we're gonna use our hole, line it up. One. Tricky. And there's that. Now that holds the whole blower assembly in place. Make sure it's nice and solid. This customer had built a metal rack to keep the furnace up in the air, which makes it really nice for doing any kind of work on this furnace. So if you're building a new house and you're thinking about that, get the furnace up as high as possible. It makes maintenance down the road so much easier. So these 2 plugs, we're gonna plug those back in, but not quite yet. We're gonna get them out of the way. We're gonna get this opened up, and we are going to probably bring the camera in a little bit. And I will show you where these wires go on this board. I wanna set that down. Let me bring the camera in a little bit, and then we will get these new wires run through and hooked up. Okay, we're back. Remove the cover that covers the circuit board. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a zip tie on all these wires. There's a lot of extra wire hanging here we're not gonna need, so we're gonna go ahead and get that zipped up for now. And then the old wires we cut off are all still in place. So what you're gonna wanna do is, you're gonna wanna verify that the old wiring and the new wiring are the same. So if you look up here, you can see our motor speeds, what color they are, and the speed. So we have, and where they go. Now, we don't really need to know that, but we just need to make sure the speeds are right. So the speeds and the colors are the same as our new motor, which is our instructions we hung here earlier. And this tells us exactly what is what and what speed is what color. Now, I've already verified these and they are correct. So all we have to do is make sure that we plug and play all the wires from our circuit board right here that we cut off to all of our new wires, and we will be set to go. So these plastic things sometimes can be a real pain. If you're able to get them out and get them open, a lot of times you can get them back in. The older wires are usually thicker than the new wires. So hopefully we'll be able to put our new wires in here and pop it back in. Now, sometimes if that doesn't work, you have to get a Romex, electrical Romex connector in order to get those connected correctly. So we're gonna get this worked in here. Get all these old wires out of our way. Put these through here. And then sometimes if you get lucky enough, that'll click right in there. So, and we have a little bit of extra room because the new wires are much smaller than the old wires. So, all right, we're gonna tuck this out of our way again and again. There we go. All right, so I usually use a pair of wire strippers or needle nose to gently wiggle the connectors off for the old wires. So we're going to start with our neutral wire. Here's our old neutral wire. It goes down to here. Now you don't want to just pull and yank. You want to kind of wiggle so you're not breaking the circuit board as you remove it. So we remove the white wire. So we're going to get our white wire out here. We know where it needs to go. So we can get it down in here. And then again, when you get it put in, you can just grab a hold of it and wiggle it. Real gentle so we're not breaking anything on a 20-year-old circuit board. So next, let's do our blue. Our blue is down here on M2. Actually, our yellow is on heat. So we're gonna do it first, and then we'll do blue, then we'll do red, then we'll do black. So again, use the nice biting tip here of your wire strippers and just wiggle it off nice and gentle. I actually pulled off blue first, so we're gonna put blue back one wire at a time, that way we ain't getting mixed up. We already verified that our speeds are correct. Now here's our yellow. Wiggle it off. Grab your new one. Let's go. Oops, it's a little tangled here. Let's move this around. Okay. And our yellow is going to go to the heat terminal, which means that our heat speed is medium low, I think. Okay, so all we have left is red and black. Red goes to the fan. Pull it out of there. Red goes to fan. Get it worked back in. And our black goes over here to cool. So wiggle that off of there nice and easy without breaking anything. All right. Here's our black wire. Get it wiggled back in our cooling mode, and there you go. That is how the new motor is wired into the old circuit board. So once that's done, now we know our wiring is correct because we already verified with our old motor and our new motor. We verified speeds, we made sure everything was good. So we can be done with this. But this does come, I think it comes as a sticker. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on brand. And okay, this one is not a sticker, it's just a piece of paper. But sometimes you can put this sticker, up where you can see it for future reference. We're still gonna need to know our rotation. I typically just like to test it before. So kick it on, make sure it spins, then look in there and make sure it's spinning the right direction. And then if it isn't, swap those leads, and then you know for certain you're good to go. So this can go back on here. Okay. This can get tightened up. Now at this point, we can go ahead and connect up our plugs again. You know, that one went up here. Go ahead and get it snapped back in. Oops, must be the other direction. And these are one way, so you can't plug them in wrong. If they're not right, they will not go in, as you can tell. So snap that in. That one's good. We are going to take this one, get it snapped in. Okay, heard it click, we're good to go there. Look at all these tucked in here. We'll probably put a zip tie on all this together once we verify rotation to just hold it all. And on the side here, I have the other wires tucked away. We have our main power wires. There's that. And then what we have is our thermostat wires and our power for the humidifier. So the humidifier is run by this separate transformer. This transformer does the main 24 volts, and it does not have to be unwired because it's a part of the housing that pulls out. So that's kind of nice on these models. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these connected back up, and then we'll get her kicked on and verify rotation, and that'll be it. Thanks. Okay, here we are. We got everything wired back up. Put a zip tie on the door switch just to make sure that it runs, and reinstalled the filter. Everything is connected up. I'm ready to power this thing up and verify the correct rotation of the fan. So, turn it on. Combustion air blower comes on. In a few minutes you'll see a orange glow up there in the upper right hand corner. That is the hot surface igniter. A lot of Rheems are spark ignition, but this particular one is hot surface igniter. It should go ahead and kick on here momentarily. And then what we're going to do is, as soon as the fan goes to kick on, we're going to shut it off at the power switch right there. And then we're going to shine a light in there and verify that it is spinning the correct direction. So there goes our hot surface igniter. that the fan is spinning the correct direction. Now that the fan is spinning the correct direction, we were able to look inside there and see the wheel spinning, and to make sure that it was spinning in the up direction, cupping the air, blowing it up into the house. Now we can finish up our final zip ties, make sure everything's out of the way, reinstall the bottom door, and it is done. Thanks.